Here's DiVincenzo with the ball up top. And here's Klay Thompson. He first uses the loony screen to get a bit of separation from Austin Powers, and as he raises up for the shot with the purple jerseys all around him, I know somewhere in the world Paul George is saying,
I care what anybody says, that's a bad shot.
To be perfectly honest, guys, I don't blame PG-13 because I was actually saying the exact same thing. But you know what the end result was. Splash, splash, butter, baby. The playoff Warriors have been looking absolutely unstoppable, and to be honest, as a fan of both teams, I can honestly and objectively say Golden State has truly exposed the Los Angeles Lakers. So first off, I gotta talk about Game 1. I honestly expected the Warriors to lose that game. I mean, they were just coming off an intense 7-game series against the Sacramento Kings where they were pushed to their limits. Curry had to use everything he had to will his team to that Game 7 victory, so he wasn't just physically drained, but emotionally as well. On top of that, as a team, they had to go back to San Francisco that same night. Then with just a one-day break in between games, they were suddenly thrown back onto the court where they had to face this newly revamped Lakers team that had been preparing for days. And not only was this Los Angeles team well rested, but they're a complete night and day difference than the Sacramento Kings. But despite all that, if the referees weren't on the Lakers' payroll, the Warriors would have still pulled away for the win. Now, I know Anthony Davis had a huge game with 30 points and 23 rebounds, but guys. The Warriors had 6 free throws to the Lakers' 29. I don't want to say that game was rigged or fixed, but come on, man. Ain't no way that Dennis Schroeder could get 10 free throw attempts while the Warriors as a whole only got 6. It was unbelievable. It was crazy. It was downright laughable. I mean, they gave the Lakers every whistle, but yet, whenever Steph got bumped, he got nothing. Here's what I mean. As Curry goes coast to coast in this play, he clearly gets bumped from behind by LeBron James. That's one of the most obvious calls a ref can make. But you know what? There was no whistle. There was no call. It was absolutely ridiculous. But, oh well, it's spilled milk now, and moving on here. Losing Game 1 against the Lakers wasn't that bad. I honestly didn't feel that bad about it because of several different points. I mean, number 1, the Warriors get a pass because they just went to a Game 7. Number 2, the Warriors figured out the Lakers at the end of Game 1. Number 3, the refs bailed out the Lakers. And number 4, the Warriors still almost won the game. And it would have been nice if the Warriors had actually won it, but hey, the series is split 1-1 now with Game 3 back in Los Angeles. And with that being said, let me get into just how the Warriors have exposed the Lakers. First off, it's not a secret that the Lakers can't win without Anthony Davis going for a monster game. LeBron is still an elite player, but he's too old to put the team on his back like how he did for a complete decade when he was in the East. Look at this. What the heck happened here? It must be a 38-year-old type of thing. All jokes aside, he's still efficient. He still has his moments. He still has his highlights. But for the Lakers to beat the Warriors, it has to be Davis now, and that's where Draymond comes in. I won't say Draymond is an Anthony Davis stopper or anything like that, but you can't deny the fact that the 2017 Defensive Player of the Year makes AD uncomfortable. I mean, in that Game 2, the Lakers superstar was held to just 11 points and 7 rebounds. Some may say he just had a regular off night, but trust me when I say that Draymond had a lot to do with him having an off night. Next off, the Warriors have to figure out that they're way better with the ball in Steph Curry's hands. That was a key adjustment in Game 2, and it paid dividends. I mean, not only did they get even more buckets when Steph Curry is involved in pick and rolls, but they can exhaust and tire out Anthony Davis as well. Like I said earlier, the Lakers aren't winning anything without Anthony Davis having monster games. And if he has to defend against high pick and rolls on one end of the floor, then get defended by Draymond on the other, that's just not sustainable, especially when he has to put in over 40 minutes a night. Anyway, on top of that, by involving AD in high pick and rolls, it eliminates the rim protection of the Lakers. Like in this play here. Curry's here on the bottom with Vanderbilt all over him. Draymond comes up and sets the screen, then Anthony Davis comes up as well to prevent the Curry 3. This gives Draymond a clear path to roll to the rim, and as you can see, he's met with zero resistance. Lastly, the Warriors have shown in Game 2 that whenever they have 4 shooters on the floor, it really messes up the Lakers' defense. I mean, they're too paranoid with Curry, and they're too concerned with protecting the paint, and that often led to great looks from the perimeter, which shooters like Jay Mike capitalized on. Anyway, as evident from the end of Game 1 and for the majority of Game 2, it's just like what I said in another video. The Warriors have what it takes to slow down the Lakers superstars, but the Lakers, on the other hand, have no answer for the Splash Brothers. Then, to make things worse for the Lakers, the scheduling of games only has a day break between each and every game. Honestly, that is a bit exhausting, even from a fan's perspective. I mean, I could use an extra day of mental rest before watching these games, but seriously speaking, the one-day rest is only going to benefit the Warriors. AD and LeBron are much more physical players, and with this series going to 6 or 7 games, they'll just become slower and more exhausted with each passing game, especially when they have to chase Steph Curry around for miles and miles every other night. Anyway, next off, let's talk about Klay. It's clear that the Lakers have no answer to number 11. Honestly, they can really only pray that he misses, but in reality, praying that the second best shooter in NBA history misses is wishful thinking at best. I mean, look at this ridiculous play by Klay. Here he is out of bounds on the baseline. He first uses the Curry screen to get a bit of separation from Hachimura, then he receives the pass from Draymond, and from there, he takes one dribble, then before you know it, he's squared up towards the basket and up in his shooting motion already. Sheesh, guys. I can't believe Charles Barkley actually called him washed. That's basketball blasphemy, if you ask me. But anywho, there's a few more points I want to get into regarding this series. First off is, the only thing the Warriors honestly have to worry about going forward in this matchup against the Lakers are, you guessed it, the refs. If they call the games fairly and keep the free throw discrepancy from getting out of hand like in Game 2, it's a blowout. But if they literally give the Lakers 23 extra free throws, then the Warriors have a problem. Next off, for those that watch the games, are the TNT commentators biased or what? I mean, all game long, they were practically cheering on the Lakers. Like, I don't have or need an exact soundbite, but all game, it just seemed that Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy were favoring the Lakers and doing the opposite with the Warriors. It was crazy, and I couldn't believe it, honestly. I think these two deserve a technical foul because of that. Anyway, I want to make sure that I touch on that Poole shot at the end of Game 1. Now, a ton of people were giving Poole trouble for taking that shot, but honestly, he played great all game, including making 6 triples. He could have been like 2 feet closer or shot faked and relocated for a better shot, but with 10 seconds left on the game clock, I didn't think it was that bad of a shot. Honestly, it's more on Kerr's fault because he should have called a timeout and drawn out a play where he saw Steph getting trapped. But anyway, going forward for Game 3, 4, 5, and 6, I see the Warriors making this look easy. They'll probably lose another game somewhere because they'll have an off night when it comes to shooting, but besides that, I don't see the Lakers having enough to adjust to what the Warriors could throw at them. And honestly, as a fan of both teams, it's absurd to think the Lakers could beat this Warriors team in a best of 7. I mean, this is literally a team that has been scraped together in 2 months, and to expect them to beat the team of the decade is insane. Maybe if LeBron was in his prime, that's a different story, but come on, guys. A 2-month project versus one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history that's coming off a championship? Get out of here.